This is called Justice Committee, right?
Yes, the Justice Committee. Right. Robin Farrell, King J.
Well, welcome back again. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett, and I have two tremendous guests here, which is King J and Sister Robin, which is going to be here speaking today in reference to the Justice Committee, an organization that they founded, and they want all you people out there in TV land to join in with them to do some major things and help them try to make some major changes in life. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett. Of course, I'm with Popo Community for Justice, and my show is so radical, at least how most people would try to deem it, but they love it because I'm telling the truth and I speak from the heart. And we have more people. I'm so happy to have gotten a chance to meet Mr. King J and Sister Robin, and they have another organization as well, which you've already seen one. And they'll talk more on the subject matters because that's when I bring people on. I want them to speak from their heart and tell it like it is from their view in order to get your view lined up with their view. So without further ado, this is going to be a wonderful show. Stay blessed, and I welcome all of you people to come and listen to what these wonderful party has to say.
Thank you very much for having us. And let me say, giving honor to God first and foremost, from whom all blessings flow. He's the one, or she's the one, whichever you prefer, has made this possible. So, to my right, as Mr. Apostle Cecil says, is Miss Robin Farrell, and I appreciate her cutting into her busy schedule to be a part of this too. And we all got to start to make some concessions. We're here representing the Justice Committee, which is a committee that is registered with the state of Oregon, and we're going to definitely be a voice to make some changes on some issues that we face in everyday life. I'm going to rattle through this here, part of my notes, so just bear with me a minute. I want to give a shout out to the First Family for the election before I do get started, and congrats to Joe Biden as well. So most definitely I want to give credit where it's due there. With President Obama's first 4 years, they kind of slipped away from us. So obviously with these next 4 years, seem like they're going to slip away a lot faster. So we're really going to have to apply ourselves, especially as us as a people, to make sure that we're not mistreated when it comes to the legal system and the justice system, period. I'm making a plea right now for attorneys, lawyers, all legal students to become a part of this Justice Committee, because we don't have anyone basically that is going to represent us. A lot of us don't have money when we face issues, fines, things of that nature. So all of this snowballs into just a plot or some kind of conspiracy to basically just take away our freedom and our rights. So our email will be up on the screen, and as well as our phone numbers. And I want you to take the time to write that down. You may not call today, but you may need to call. You may want to call in the future to see how you can help. So, okay, if you, your family, or friends, or some of your friends have had any issue of any kind with the justice system, it's here in Oregon, but basically all over too now. But here in Oregon, contact the Justice Committee. That's us, because we want to know about that, no matter how long ago it was. That's the problem. Sometimes people say the time has been too long, the statute has run out. Listen, no, there's no statute and nothing that's unjust. And why? Because I said so. Now, who am I? I'm a citizen, and I'm a citizen of the United States. So if I got an issue, it should be taken up. If not, there's no closure. A lot of times they just want to just kick it on the side. So bear with me while I muddle through this here, because that's very important. That a lot of us think we don't have time. I mean, the time is too late, and we a lot of us time we don't know what to do. That's really what I want to say. We don't know where to go, who to talk to, and therefore that really hurts us too. Anyway, like I said, that's the problem. The wheels of justice, they turn very slow, and the squeaky wheel sometimes doesn't get the grease. But A government for the people, by the people, can change a lot of this red tape that goes on in the system. Attorney General Eric Holder, Barack Obama's right-hand man, should I say, he will be interested in a portfolio that has your name and address and the issues that you face in it. And that is what we hope to compile with a binder just like this, to put your name and address and your issues in there to start to keep a record of things. And in conjunction with the Oregon Black Museum, that is what we're doing, is going back over our history. This here committee is a branch of that. So I want to make that clear. And we are registered with the state. However, like I said, the Attorney General of the United States will be interested in that. And this could be regarding justice with the police, discrimination, racial slurs, housing, job promotions, or job, or employment to a certain degree where you didn't get a job, legal aid, civil liberties. They're there, but they can't seem to handle all the issues. Sometimes they'll call you back in 3 days. Some of you know that, and I know that personally too. So, we need a system set up, just like this Justice Committee, that's going to really be the teeth that'll get to the bottom of something. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. That's why I had pleas for law students and people who have this particular background to be of some assistance with this matter, because people do need this. Moving right along, a lot of people are being mistreated, and they're being abused, and excessive force. A lot of things are happening with our own Portland Police Department right here in this city, and there needs to be a stop put to it. Some of us have saw our loved ones that have been jailed and abused right before our very eyes, and then after they've done their time, they get out. Then they're put on paper for maybe 5 years or even longer, or else they have on ankle bracelets for 6 months to a year. So it's almost like their freedom is never really, the price of whatever they were charged with is never really paid. These issues is what I'm saying has to be looked into, because otherwise than that, it's going to be a bigger problem later on. People are stripped of their right to live in certain areas, to even work on certain jobs. Even in some states, they're stripped of the right to vote. And as we know, there's a problem even with this last election. But this must stop. And speaking of the last election, there was an injustice in terms of out here in Clackamas County, to get away from my notes for a minute, where a lady was marking ballots. Now, I don't know what's going to be done with that, but that's why this committee is here. Because if that would be somebody else, for people of color, let me say, most likely they'd be doing more time than what I know is going to be given to that person. I know that, because the scales of justice is not equal, so to speak. And another thing, with the election, let me mention to you, the Florida election, they changed the time of the polling place to close later because people didn't get there on time. Who changes the rules in the middle of something like that? Nobody seems to care or don't want to speak out about it. Yeah, I'm going to speak out about it, because if I wouldn't have made it to the polls in time, they would have been telling me, oh, that's too bad. So why are you going to let the polls time be open longer for more people to come and vote, which was voting against our president, I'm sure. So justice needs to be served in terms of how that's taking place in the United States, if you understand. I demand a cease immediately. Social injustice feeds on hate and rage. Our newly elected mayor, Charles Hales, they call him Charlie, he's looking forward to straighten out issues with the Portland police and with the community. Well, I look forward to an equal and fair playing field for people, over all people. So hopefully we'll be able to sit and meet, and he maybe will come on this show in the future and answer some questions too. I don't know, but the door is open to him, I'm sure. So anyway, don't stop. People don't want to be stopped. They don't want to be interviewed. They don't want to be stopped at random, interrogated. They don't want no routine stops, no searches, no seizures. All this stuff that is done by our Portland Police Department here, just because they think they can, and that's something that they're going to have to get out of the mentality of, because they don't have the right. Okay, and I don't care if it's the streets of Portland, Beaverton, Tualatin, Sandy, Scappoose, Salem, wherever. They have no right to just ride up on people and interview them and detain them, more or less, so to speak. So that's an issue that we got to speak out from the Justice Committee about. Perhaps they'll be giving them some type of citation that they had talked to them, so that they won't keep on talking to them. I think that was something that was tried a long time ago and it didn't go nowhere. But no one has no business being talked to by officers 4 or 5 times a day. It doesn't make sense. And there's other things they could be doing with their time and what they're hired to do, if you ask me. Anyway, moving right along. The fact is that a black man in prison, there's more black men, in prison than it is in college. Black women, they're charged with welfare fraud, prostitution, drugs, selling drugs, things like that, and 9 times out of 10, they aren't guilty of these charges. So there's more women in the prisons than go to church on any given Sunday. Now these statistics might be a little off, but they're not far from it. Trust me. But anyway, another Black History fact is that those of color, they get more time for the same crime that whites get. So explain the scales of balance on that. In other words, a young black boy, not a man, a young black boy, if he had 10 rocks of cocaine, he would get 10 years, where a white male would get probably 10 hours and $1,000 fine, which would be $1,000. And no probation, no ankle bracelet, no being on paper or nothing. So someone has to answer to that, and it seems to me that, maybe in the future we would have someone in here from the legislature or some judges or somebody that may be able to explain why that is too, because there's nothing equal about that. And in the future, we hope to invite those responsible who can answer those questions, and it could even be the governor, for all that matters. But if you know something, speak up, because that is the problem. We need people to be problem solvers, not people sitting back, maybe pointing and laughing. Even now, oh, look at this, look at that, and stuff. We need people to come forth and be counted, and to show our strength in numbers, and be a part of the Justice Committee. This is the face of justice right now, what you're looking at, and Ms. Farrell here also is the face of justice at this time. So do be a part of it. Right here also, I bought this busted paper. It costs $1. I know you'll probably put it on the monitor, but let me show it to you right here. It's put out at regular newsstands, and I would like to know who puts it out, for one thing, who has access to all this information with people's pictures and their charges. That's exactly correct. And it's really humiliating for everybody to have access to this and to pay $1. Once again, it's called busted. And to pay $1 for people to look at them, point and laugh, and if all the charges that you have this month to go over into the next month. That's what I got down here. Let me move on. Every charge adds up. So if you got 2 charges this month, next month they'll add it on and put your paper back there, and it'll be 3 or more charges or whatever. So that's the way that works, from what it seems. And they're available everywhere. So who has the right to get this, and even the police records to see that? It makes you wonder. And this is an invasion of privacy act. If I'm saying that right, I'm not an attorney, like I said, but I believe it got something to do with that. The police, they violate women. I can't say all women, but they do violate women, especially black women, and nothing is being done about that. I know Ms. Farrell will speak about something to that later on. I'm trying to hurry up and get through with this, but basically, black women don't have a leg to stand on, like I said, or an issue to bring forth because they don't have the legal representation, and nobody seems to care. However, policemen, they do be involved with things like that, and they are exonerated, or it never comes up. They stop women. They still do cavity searches on women. And let me say, I'm really going out there now on the limb, because there is gay officers on the force. Some of them gay women, they are handling some of the women real roughly. And the same when it comes to men too now. And I'm not for or against one way or another, but what I do know is that people got a right to be treated properly. Okay? So all this here manhandling and so-called woman handling now, that has to stop too. And a male officer has no business searching a female, no matter what color they are. Okay? So, and I've addressed this issue before with chiefs in the past, and apparently it's been in one ear and out the other. So don't think I just showed up here today and, hey, I want the popularity contest. I need people to really get behind issues like this, because you don't want that to be your daughter, your auntie, your grandmother, your mother, your aunt, your sister. You got the picture. Anyway, this has to cease too. Male officers should be searching males. Females should be searching females. Okay, but it still should be within reason. And another thing I think too personally is that male officers and female officers should be teamed to ride together, so they don't have to call a female officer. A lot of times I know that I've watched the situations on the street. They have to call a female officer, then she's late coming or she don't show up or she's whatever, and then they just take it upon themselves to do what the performance of what their duty is. That's not right either. That's why we got matrons on the force. That's why they're there. So I think women are going to speak to that a little more than me. So let me move on. But anyway, these things you don't hear about on regular TV. You see, the channel 6, 8, 2, 12, and all them, they do good jobs with reporting the news. It may be something like this. It's maybe 10 seconds. That's why, once again, maybe I haven't said it at all, but special thanks to Portland Community Media for having us on here to bring about these issues and to give it the attention that it needs. Because after all, if we don't expose it, people will never know. So like I said, please do bear with me a minute. And special thanks to to Apostle Cecil Hatchett and Poor Folks Justice Program. So like I said, our regular media needs to get into these issues more. But that doesn't happen. So the Justice Department just recently found that the Portland Police has been charged with abusing the disabled and the mentally challenged people. That's been all on the news. Now, we didn't know about that. Okay, they were charged with that, and that's all they charged them with. Well, my question is, what about people that aren't special or impaired? Is that okay to use excessive force on them? A lot of us have been victims of that. So I don't know what conclusion they arrive at, but I'm just saying this is why the Justice Committee is here. We need people who really got some insight and got some time to really dig into this thing, so our children don't have to be a part of this stuff. If you understand me well, I'm not speaking a foreign language, even though I may know a couple, but I'm speaking to you directly in English. However, we need people, like I said, to get involved. And that's not okay for them to do that to people. This is like beating on the blind. The department has a permanent black eye now from the mentally challenged people, from the Department of Justice. That's right here in Portland. That's not good for our city at all. So, like I said, continue to beat up on the blind. I don't want to be a part of none of that, and I don't want my tax dollars and nothing else going toward anything like that, and I don't think you do either. So that's one issue. And speaking of tax dollars, if I can just get away from this for a minute too, it's something that I saw the other day with Quest, the phone company, where they're going to take some of the Quest phone money to go toward police reform. And I don't know all into that yet, but nobody wants to pay their phone bill to go toward that if they really don't have to. It's almost like you're pressured to. And I had a discussion with some people when I heard about it, and they were saying that should be on the ballot to vote on. So a lot of things they're doing is not on the ballot, but I don't know how that happens. But I'm just saying these are issues that the Justice Committee wants to be able to expose, get out in the open, and to have people who can really give it some teeth. Okay, that's what. So I had to venture off from that for a minute to say that. And I don't know how that happens, but it should be on the ballot if the Quest phone company is going to do that. Anyway, there's a lot of oh my goodness. Let me get back on my the process. It takes entirely too long for one thing. That's what, and we need to cut through that process because it could take forever to even get to the bottom of something. They got the CRC committee, then the Police Advisory Union, and that means Citizen Review Committee, is CRC, and I can't recall the other ones, but they want you to go down and file complaints and do all this and all that stuff, yang. Then they look at them and say, well, should we process this one? Shouldn't we do that and all that? They all need to get attention, if you ask me. That's why we're here, because we want to know your case so we can support you with that. We want you to come to bring your case to our attention. And you can do that by calling a number, for one thing. And at the end, we'll give you the address where you can come to one of our meetings for the Oregon Black Museum and report that to us there. Because after all, we need to know about this stuff, especially where we are concerned as a people of color. Moving right along, a lot of times our children, they're in custody. When the police come to the house, they usually take the children. Then the children end up being taken by the juvenile people in the juvenile courts. Parents usually end up having to go down to get their children out. This is a cycle that continues to just over and over again. And basically, it could be a neighbor that called for them to come in the first place. I don't know. It could be a number of things, but now they got the children, and that children is usually the weapon that's used against the family. Next thing is these are Justice Committee issues, and a lot of us face them. We don't know where to go. Our reverends probably, I'm not going to beat up on them now because I want everybody to help, but our reverends don't want to get too involved sometimes because that's their flock, their pews that this is happening to. So a lot of them, like Judge Joe Brown says, you're going to have to man up because it's hard for one or two people to do it by themselves, and a lot of times people in your church, they do want you to be there for them. Anyway, when our children go to places, even like McLaren and Hillcrest and places like that, when they're juveniles, a lot of times they're attacked by other people in there, male and female alike now. And that creates damage to the child for the rest of their life, basically, especially when they're sexually abused in these places. So it's a lot to be said for how people are treated in there and the kind of justice that they really are receiving. So anyway, that's kind of turned them out to be more hardened criminals once they do get released. I'll tell you, I know it's something wrong when I hear our young people talking about, I'd much rather go to Rikers, or I'd much rather go to Parchment, or I'd much rather go to McNeil, or Longpo, or Walla Walla, or even with the women's prison. I want to go to Sybil Brand, or Coffee Creek, or Inverness, or Columbia River, or wherever. There's something wrong when you hear how people saying they much rather be them places than to be out here and to be free. And anyway, it just doesn't register right with me. It should be other things that they're pursuing in life as opposed to going somewhere where they got a color TV here, they got a weight room, they got this and that. That's not a life that anybody should want. So anyway, another issue that comes up here is officers in the community entering drinking establishments and waiting outside for patrons to come out, and then stopping them for driving under the influence. This usually creates fines or jail time as well. And, I think that's a form of entrapment. So, it's a lot to be said about that too. But that's why the Justice Committee wants to really let you know that's why we exist. In some cases, the school police are treating the institution like it's a penitentiary. The same way that some patrol officers are acting like he or she is a detective. No experience whatsoever. So anyway, this is disrespect to taxpayers, and another so-called road trap or speed trap or whatever to, like I said, make money for the system. Also, I noticed the police act like they're the police. They call on the phone and ask to give money to the police burial family fund and tell you this long story about stuff. Okay, maybe they have one, maybe they don't. I know that they have insurance on their jobs for people just like other people have insurance too. And I don't understand what that is, but I'm just warning some of the viewers here on that's watching the program now to just be careful of a lot of the phone solicitation, especially when it comes to that. You think you may be helping with something with the law, in the long run, it could not be that. So I'm just saying, I don't know what all that is, but I wouldn't fall for that. Not me. Anyway, moving right along. The police also use computers in their cars to find out your personal information. That means name, address, social security number, date of birth, where you live. They already know if you got insurance or not. I don't know why they said you got an insurance card. I don't wonder that. But anyway, there's a Freedom of Information Act, like I said. I'm not an attorney, but it is. That's a little bit too free of information, And they're constantly pulling stuff up, and there needs to be a monitor or a trace on things like that. Another thing is for the voters here, with the election just went by, the jury duty thing. No, I got here no or few blacks or people of color on the grand jury. So I don't know if that's the correct way of saying that or not, but I know over the years, I think I just remember one that may have been on one here in Portland, in Oregon, should I say, for Portland issues. The notice also for jury duty, when it comes out, it claims you'll be jailed if you don't comply. Now, I don't know if that means people who are disabled, blind, and all this stuff, whatever, but it's just threatening the way how it's on the jury request for you to come down to duty. So I'm not going to make a big deal of that, but that needs to be worded a little differently. And it doesn't need to sound so threatening, And if you lock people up, that's a waste of taxpayers' dollars, for not doing jury duty. It doesn't make sense. So I have to throw that in there because it's an issue that the Justice Committee does frowns on. You can have a medical excuse from your doctor too. That's true. So there's a lot of things that you can do if you aren't able to do jury duty. However, when we do go and do it, we aren't selected for a grand jury, is what I was saying. And a lot of times you could be down there and not even get selected for any duty. So anyway, we are registered voters, and you may get a call to come. But this is what I think too. I think there should be 3 grand juries: a black one, a white one, and maybe even a mixed grand jury of people of color. So therefore, that could put a stop to a lot of this confusion about didn't have enough this on, didn't have enough that on, or whatever. Now that's just my suggestion for that, since I'm here and talking about it. Something to be considered. So much for that anyway. Judges make decisions about people's cases and give them time and stuff. Grand jurors, if they're going to give people time, and they should be paid as well, because a person's life isn't cheap. So if judges are paid to do that, then grand jurors should be paid. And I don't mean a little $8-9 stipend a day. That's what some of the problem is too, probably. So it's something to be considered by the legislature or the lawmakers or whoever that is. Anyway, I got right here, I guess it just popped up for some reason, that I imagine Donald Trump still wants to see President Obama's birth certificate. I don't know why I put that in there, but maybe he does this year. I don't know. But anyway, it's issues like that don't make any sense. Okay, maybe that's why I stuck it in there. But he and Michelle are lawyers. That's what I got. So certainly, like I said, we need to encourage more young people to become lawyers so that we're able to know what the laws are. That's the main thing. Look at the percentage of black voters here in this state. So that tells you how many people may be on juries and things anyway, and even grand juries for all that matters. But we have to know the law. That's for sure. Michelle and President Obama and Michelle, they went to prestigious institutions for their learning, Harvard especially. So we need to encourage our young people to be attorneys and lawyers and get into college. Another point is, if your child hasn't been molested before they go into these penal institutions, you can bet your bottom dollar they will be by the time they come out. And that's something that we really should be looking at. And male or female, it doesn't matter. And especially with the fragile whites, that's really happening to them a lot. So I want to throw that out there. Don't think it's just happening to, maybe it's the people of color and they've been, no, it's happening to them too. And right now someone's probably sitting here watching this, laughing and pointing and this and that and all that. Well, good. If that's what you do with your time and waste your time doing that, let me say to you, that's too bad for you. I don't need you to be laughing. I need your help. We need your help. So I want to make sure that if you're getting some kicks out of that, then too bad for you. And it's too bad if your mind is that shallow and minute to not really put that time to work doing something good. Anyway, form a justice committee in your city or town or state or country. If this is up on YouTube, I don't know. But we need them all over, not just here in Oregon. You need that. Something with some teeth. Dr. Bethel here of Maranatha was on TV a while ago, and I did see him on the news saying that a committee that they had was going to try to get together to do something and have some teeth. I've been saying that for years, so I'm glad he's finally heard it and other people are saying it. But if it doesn't have any teeth, it's not going to do anything. And that means even putting officers off on unpaid leave that's involved with issues, especially with police shootings. But it could be anything, not just a shooting. Okay? Now, that's teeth. And the police union may as well get ready, because that's the fight that we're in for, the long haul, to make it better for, once again, who? Our children. Okay. The email's up on the screen in case some of you may want to contact us by email. I got here, mine is a terrible thing to waste, so is your time. For maybe some of you pointers and gestures. Another thing, when the computer goes down, that's a blind spot. Nobody seems to know what to do. Therefore, you could be in the system, especially if you're going to be released from jail. You got to wait till that comes back up. Okay? There's something wrong with that system too. Anybody should know how to go to a manual book or something. You should have to rely on a computer for a lot of things. That's the problem. That's really the problem. When it goes down, it causes inconvenience. And not just at the jails. This could be at the grocery store. A line's backed up a long ways. People are irate. Problems are caused. People are impatient, should I say. It's a number of things that happen. So anyway, it does affect the lives all over. So we got to learn to do better. That's what we got to learn to do better, and especially with the jails, the booking process is outdated. I just heard and learned that it was you're put in a room for 3 hours before they even think about doing anything with you, and I don't know what all that is. But let me say, after you're booked and stuff and released, they'll let you out at 3 o'clock in the morning without any transportation or any way home, should I say, provided. And especially with women at that time of the morning, hey, that sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I don't know what's wrong. So, you know what? Protect and serve. Somebody's got to explain that to me. I don't know how you can let somebody out at that time in the morning without. Some of them don't even have coats or hats, especially during bad weather, rainy, cold stuff. I don't understand. But there's been a lot of complaints about that, and nothing never seems to be done. Because guess what? They still do it, don't they? Okay, it's issues like that we really need to address, and most likely people are arrested and taken down there for no reason. Let me throw that in there. So they go through all this drama for absolutely nothing and can never sue. I never get that. So anyway, true, the buses aren't running, it's unsafe. So moving right along here, when things erupt in the city, And there's problems with either our youth and stuff. The city leaders usually run to get the reverends and pastors and clerical people. I think that needs to be stopped. I think you need to really start to get the real community to resolve the issues. That's what. And on the chessboard, there is a thing as king, queen, bishop, knight, and rook. So you wouldn't get the bishop before the king. And not to speak for myself, but I'm saying people in the community want to be involved in that, not just the clergy. So that whole practice needs to be changed, period. And maybe it'll get resolved a little quicker. When I worked on the Hill at OHSU, another thing was that we would see people come up there that was injured by the police, and not fatal, but they had really been beat and stuff. And I'm just thinking all the time, why is this continuing when some of them are repeaters? They're coming back, we're patching them up, they're going back out there. And I was trying to talk to some of the physicians and doctors to try to put a stop to that, because that's not why they went to school, was to clean up somebody's dirty work, when those things could be avoided. So I don't know where that's going. I no longer am up there, but I'm just saying that's probably why. But no, something needs to be changed, because a lot of people in the medical field, they don't go to school and practice medicine for those years to employ their skills for something that doesn't have to be in the first place. Now, and you can weigh and balance that all you want to, but I wish that the program would have started before I left from there to put a stop to something like this. But down here, I got you shoot them, we scoot them, and then you stab them, we grab them, because that's what it seems like the process is. And that needs to stop, because after all, it is someone's life. So hopefully there'll be something done about that. Let me see here. It is a vicious cycle once again, and that usually requires time off work, parents and children from school. It brings in the CPS, is Children Protective Services, once again, and C.S.D, Children's Services Division, and now we know what the face of Children's Services Division looks like too, because after all, we never knew before. Now we know. A lot of our children are in there, and we as a justice committee have been to some of the juvenile court hearings out at the Don Lee Long home, and it's just a sad case. It is tear jerking, and like I said, it's a child. So, and whites too as well. I'm not saying it's just blacks, but whites too as well. But it's just a shame that that's what the system does, and your child's exploited, and money's made off of them. Bringing up the system, I want to mention that the foster care family in Vancouver, if some of you didn't know, they was starving their kids and had them eating dog food and this and that and whatever the case was, and they were getting money for taking care of those kids, and that was exposed because that was a white family on TV. If that was a black family, you wouldn't hear nothing about that. You see, if you understand why the justice system is really here and what we're really trying to do, and anyway, let me just scoot right along here. That really tells you that why we need this station to get issues like that out. We need to be updated all the time on what the laws are too, as well. We demand that someone gives us updates and lets us know what our standards are or what we must go by. And whoever can do that, email us, let us know. Send it to the Justice Committee at yahoo.com. Sometimes we don't know what our rights really are, especially property owners. That's one. With the Title 29 program, they'll come in and tell you what to do with your property, whether you paid $200,000 for it or $20,000, and that's taking away people's rights. And I know people who are faced with that. I have been myself. Let me say, it's a number of issues that they bring forth to you to try to take away your freedom. And that American dream is supposed to be to own a home and property. That's what I always thought. Not to have somebody boss you around and tell you that you just renovating it. I don't really get that either. So even with the foreclosures on homes that we've witnessed on TV and saw people, certainly they have taken away their right to freedom. Okay, so that's an issue that we have to get to. I want to hurry up here right quick too, but let me see. The weapons that I think police really need to is probably no, and what do other countries have? It's not just what I think. It's what do other countries or even states have basically. So what I think they need, if you ask me, I think they need a good strategy. That's the main thing. And if not, we can get some psychologists in there that'll help them along. That's what we really need to do. Cameras, maybe some nets, maybe some tear gas, okay. Some shields, yeah, okay. Some dogs for other dogs, not for people, okay. That's for sure. Horses, they don't need that. Kids can go to the zoo and pet horses and stuff all day long. They don't crowd control nothing. That's just a necessary expense. Well, one of them just died the other day too. I saw on the news. Anyway, I don't know about all that, but see, like I said, we got to start to slim down those things if we're going to start to cut something. The police need to be out walking, parking in cars and saving that gas. How about that? Some of them are overweight and out of shape anyway. I'm sorry if I'm insulting you, but that's exactly the way it is, and you know it and I know it. So anyway, we need to attack this at some level and really getting down to the bottom of it. And the PETA people, yes, the PETA people with the pets, I expect to hear from you too, because there's a lot of animal abuse going on with them police dogs and even attacking other people and stuff too. The demeanor of the animal, you know. So I don't know if you're going to respond to this or not, but believe you me, I'll try to reach you and contact you. That's part of my position, and I'm making time to do that. So laugh all you want to, some of you laughers out there. But anyway, we have to do all we can do. I want to also get to the warning shot. It used to be a warning shot that was fired before a person was killed. That shot has disappeared. Hardy Myers, Assistant Attorney General, was right over here a while ago down at the Urban League. This is 4 or 5 years ago, before he retired, you know. I tried to nail him down to that, but he didn't have an answer. And I never got back with him on finding that, but that's still up in the air. What about the warning shot before you fire the fatal shot? Anyway, back here again, the rape of black women, call hotline is going to be in process for that, because a lot of black women, like I said, they have been molested and raped by the police. So I didn't want to let that go without bringing that up again. And there should be legislation regarding all these matters. So it's not like we need to make some quickly. It's got to be something somewhere. We need to know what that is, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here. So this may be a long process, but after all, if it was easy, anybody could do it. So therefore, like I said, we need all the help we can get from people who can help us. And in this age of high technology, we really have no excuse. Hopefully, we'll be able to take some calls from you in a few minutes if you have some. And we don't want to leave you out. That's why I'm trying to hurry up here. But I want to thank you for your participation and viewing too at the same time. The police want your approval for things. No, they don't have my approval for anything. They have to show that they're accountable to me. That's what they have to show. Think about that. So I wish to remind them that want the approval that they have a job description, and they better start to go by that, because that's where all this is going to really hit the fan, so they say. Let me see here. One more thing too that I don't want to leave out, and I was two things that I want to bring up, which got every bit to do with justice. And I see that Kendall James' picture was up on the monitor with Mazaya Poot, who was the Mexican nationalist immigrant that was murdered as well. A lot of us have had people who lives have been taken by the police, and the grand juries have let them off. There's never been any restitution to families and things. There's a number of things that have happened that's been unjust. And we want to go back, just like we were talking about 40 acres on the mule, we want to go back and reactivate those cases. Why? Because I said so. Okay? And that's some tall talk, but I can back that up. And with your help, I know it can happen. But things like this, we can't just close a blind eye to it. Not at all. And let me, with another thing, I just got this call today about what they're doing in Alabama to show you about justice. They're trying to take the voters' rights away from all the blacks down there. in a county in Alabama. I couldn't remember the county, but it just came up Friday. So you may hear more about it if it's not screened out. But that's showing that they want to take the right away from the federal and put it in the state. So now they could tell who can vote in Alabama and who can't. Why? Because they're angry about the election, for one thing. Okay, that's wrong. We have to speak out about that. And we have the right to vote. So like I said, all this little hanky-panky stuff with the voting rights, I don't like it, but once they do that, then it's gonna create some issues and snowball somewhere. So I wanted to bring that up because that was brought to my attention just today. And I would say something else about that, but I'll just let that slide now. But anyway, another thing too, I got the signs I want to get to here, but I want to bring up that former Mayor Neil Goldsmith in 1976 here. The election then was stolen from candidates that was in the race, because look at the charges that came up from him later on. Now, if this was permissible, then okay, but molesting kids and children and stuff, that's not. So therefore, someone else should have won those elections, and he would have been out automatically. You see? So when you go back and think about it, that was a bogus election, and that was between Ivancy and Goldsmith, which was top runners. I also ran in that election too. That's why I'm bringing that up. So that was stolen from me, if you ask me. I want to throw that in. But let me get up here and show you over here some of the issues. Ms. Farrell, did you want to elaborate on some of the issues with the women while I go over to the board?
Yeah, my name is Mrs. Farrell. I have had serious issues with the police too. They had raped me too when I was a teenager, and I reported it. And they had me going through the hotlines, and I don't know what I could listen. And I had to tell them how I was humiliated behind me in Manual Hospital, where the police cars be, and nothing got done. They took me to the hospital. They examined me and put something in my arm, and then the police officer, he was there. I was saying that was him, and they was saying I was hallucinating, and it just became like I was a lie, and so nothing got done on that. And as well as the C.S.D. Taking our children. You know, if you have any kind of dispute in your home, and the police called, someone has to go. If it's the man or that woman, and then after that, when they gone, then the kids gone, because the kids was there. So they said the kids was in an abusive situation, and so they take the kids to the C.S.D. And then now, so the kids gotta have a lawyer, the parents got to have a lawyer, and then go to the lawyer, then the judge. So everybody get paid, and the kids is gone, and they're taking that from us, our children, out of our community, and now the white people's raising our children. I remember a time then our ancestors raised their children. Now they're raising our children, and they're getting paid for it.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand it, but I know it's happening, and it's happening in 2012, and we need to wake up and see that this is happening all around us. Our kids being taken out of our homes because they try to say that we're not able to raise our kids because we had a dispute in our homes. I mean, and we all gonna have a disagreement, but that don't mean we can't raise our children. I mean, we always fight and disagree, but we always knew how to raise those babies, and so they keep on taking our kids from us, and it's real sad. And I don't know. I'm emotional now, so I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. Well, this is just a true testament of things that are happening in our homes with our families. Like I said, we just want people to get involved. I know the time has slipped away, and I had a lot written down, but this isn't going to be the only show. I just wanted to get a few crucial points in, and I hope I really did reach somebody. But these are some of the issues that, if you got it on the screen, that we face with the police to stop murdering, manhandling women, searching women without a female officer, foolish interviews, questioning people, misuse of computers, coffee breaks, engines running, air pollutant, stopping vehicles on routine stops, stopping vehicles from coming out of clubs and looking for snitches, making deals with snitches, suspecting everyone of a crime, treating people like common criminals, abuse in jail, prisons, the paper trail is usually what's keeping you from getting jobs, hassling and harassing people, especially juveniles, picking on people and acting like they're detectives, the headline news, cops TV shows, the K9 thing, like I said, with the dogs attacking people, shooting animals and dogs especially, entrapment, phantom phone calls, wasting taxpayers' money, wasting time and life, misuse of power, the badge, reacting like a coward, negative image, attitude, and the look professional, looking like a clown, oppressing my people, and embarrassing the city of Portland, let alone the state of Oregon. These are just some of the things that I know is going on. And I brought this one here in the back here. I'm going to take it down and bring it out, even though this was one of the first signs that was made in '99. It says harassment, misconduct, high-speed chases, false arrests, spotlight, profiling, frame-ups, brutality, justifiable homicide, wrongful death. Listen, I've been around a long time, over 40-some years fooling with this, and I do need people to help. And like I said, we need some teeth. I know of cop watching, those kind of things, okay, but this is a little different approach, and that's why it's probably moving slower. Over here to the left, you see the the Black Justice Committee. That was formed from the death of Ricky Johnson in 1975. Our first inquest here of a black youth that took up a lot of time down at the Multnomah County Courthouse. And Shrunk was there then, he's still there now, but until the time he leaves, from what I understand. But it just goes to show that even then we were speaking out about justice, and I'm still going to continue to do that, especially for my grandchildren, their grandchildren, and their grandchildren, because we need to do something, because at this rate they're not even able to attack this the way how it's moving. And even with the shirts and stuff, we're just trying to get the word out to bring it about to people's attention. Some of the things that they should start doing real quick is paying their own bills during administrative leave, union fund for families, emergencies, by saying they're sorry to people, apologizing, research regularly, helping protecting and serving, reading God's word with love, routine psychological exams, regular physical exams, cultural sensitivity programs learning other languages, listening to victims of crimes and family members, riding bikes more often, walking the beat every day, like I said, a lot of them overweight, saving gas, officer friendly, in the neighborhood and around schools, the chaplain working closely with grieving families. You really don't see that. Your engine only when necessary. Visiting, rest and retirement homes, shopping for shed-ins, checking on the elderly, noticing secluded and stop signs and things in the street lights out, and report to the proper bureaus. Things like that is what their job is really about. Making yourself known, treating people with dignity and respect. So, I know we're running short on time, but I just want to say it's a few things that I know that they can do, that they should be doing, that are good things, especially looking neat, professional, playing sports with our youth activities, well-groomed, staying in shape, losing weight, hiring youth to wash and clean their vehicles and things like that, giving them jobs, checking all the engine fluids and everything, showing up at local churches on Sunday, things like that, and arresting those who are speaking racial slurs every day to people in the community that's uncalled for. That trashes the community when they do that, and cooperating and slowing down in the residential areas especially, and helping out with the Sunshine Division Pal Boys Club and Boys and Girls Clubs, and volunteering more in the community too. So these are a few of the other issues that they should be doing and hope they start doing. And if anybody really has any input to this, please don't hesitate to call. I know it's a few minutes left of the program. Maybe we didn't get a call session in, but if you want to call the number and add a question now, then then well, it's probably too late for now. But anyway, it was just a lot to say there, and I'm glad that we got past that part of it. So I can say to the viewers, thank you for tuning in, and also to Miss Robin Farrell, I thank you for coming and saying what you have to say in terms of speaking out for some of the women, because yeah, and it makes every bit of difference. The few people who can't do this, we need a lot of people to be involved. Call and leave your number, please. So I'll turn the program back over now to Apostle, and thank you once again, like I said, for having us, and thank God. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett, like I said before, and what I said, I invite people on the show. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the deal is. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett. I want any and everybody to come on the show to speak their heart. I don't try to put no governor on what you want to speak on. I try to get you here early enough to relate to the issues that you feel are very, very important to you. I am so thankful, Mr. King J. and Sister Robin. I'm very, very sorry, Sister, for mispronouncing your name. And of course, time goes very quickly, as Mr. King J. Recognized. You think 1 hour was 5 minutes, and so I'm so happy that they were here. I'm so happy that they were communicating a message, and I'm just so very, very thankful that Popo Community for Justice, I appreciate all you wonderful people out there in TV land. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. Come to Popo Community for Justice. At 3 o'clock, you get here. If you come here by 3 o'clock, I'll try and see that you get on the air to speak to the viewers live on TV. So whatever you got to say that's on your heart, say it. And I trust. Let go, let God. Let God Almighty guide your thoughts and your feelings. And I won't put the brakes on you. If you come here to act a fool, I'll clown you by putting you off the studio, because I'm not here for putting on a clown show. I'm here for trying to find out valued information. I want people to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and put everybody on Front Street. They deserve to be on Front Street. Absolutely. And to be exposed for their bad behavior. I don't take no prisoners because you got to feed them. So I let the police and everybody else feed them clowns. Amen. And so the deal is to bring people to justice, and justice will be served. So when I'm talking about different police officers, judges, attorneys, and everybody else, I don't care. I love you all out there in TV land, all you beautiful women out there in TV land. Pull up your drawers, play to win, quit being silly. That the men need to learn to respect women, to respect women for being women, for women that gave us our lives. So that right in itself should make women have the most highest rank. And I don't care how much money you think you amass over time, it's nothing compared to having a good woman or a good man in your life. So you people learn to play to win. And God Almighty we trust. I'm Apostle Cecil Hatchett. Stay strong, stay blessed. See you next week.